everybody. This is TJR. Last week, Beck released his latest advanced single for his upcoming album. The single is entitled Saw Lightning. I have to admit, I was very excited to hear it. Now, you may have heard me mention this on the channel before, you may not have, so I think it bears repeating. I'm a really huge Beck fan. I've been buying every single one of his albums ever since his first album, Mellow Gold, back when that was first released. I'm a bit obsessive about him. I love seeking out his rarities. I'll go to used record stores and find his CD singles, which have tracks that you can't get anywhere else, many of which I've never seen on streaming services either. Someday I think I will have to do a video that just kind of examines his musical trajectory, kind of an appreciation video discussing why I think he's an important artist and why his music has affected me in the way that it has. So yeah, very excited to hear the new song. And this is why it's unfortunate that the song has mostly disappointed me. And I thought maybe this would be a good topic to talk about, because in my lifetime, there have been many artists that I've admired a great deal who have released something that I just thought was not good. It just bombed with me. And a lot of times these things also bomb with the general public too. Elton John released Victim of Love. Van Halen released Van Halen 3. These were albums that were tremendously disappointing from artists that I admire a great deal. So I thought maybe it would be interesting to analyze why that song didn't work for me. And as I thought about it, I realized I was going to need to do a music analysis and do some musical demonstration, which I'll get to in a moment. I'm going to start first by talking about the song's structure. Now, I'm going to assume you've already heard it. If you haven't, stop this video, go listen to the track, and then come back. You listen to it? Great. So let me talk about the structure. Now, when I heard the song's opening blues guitar slide riff, my first thought was, cool. This reminds me of his first hit, Loser. I also liked the blend between the song's acoustic slide and the staccato drum beat. So at first, I'm grooving. Then, the opening lyrics come in, and it's just the line, "There was a day I saw lightning," and then he repeats it again. This, of course, is a common trope in blues songs. To my surprise, I even liked the lyrics that follow, which is kind of the very silly lyrics, "Ho, ho, ho, saw lightning, he, saw lightning." These lyrics don't read very well on paper, let me tell you. They sound very, very dumb. And normally, I would have dismissed those lyrics as such, but I really thought that those silly lyrics fit really well with the whole song's context, with its groove, with that blues guitar and that really staccato drum beat. Those two musical elements should not get along, but they are getting along in the song, and this is one of the things I really like about Beck. Then the lyrics take a much more intelligent turn. The lyrics are, "Saw windy mains, saw mountains fall, saw temples burn, prison walls, saw floods coming, saw children run, we got no more shelter, no more sun." Now, these lyrics stand in tremendous contrast, and to great effect, too, I will add, with the earlier, much more sillier lyrics during the song's first verse. Now, at this point in the track, we are less than 1 minute in. The song itself has been more rhythmic than melodic. The lyrics are mostly spoken, or they are rapped, and the only real melodic instrument is that repeating acoustic guitar blues riff that I mentioned earlier. So far, though, the track has worked really well. It's at this point that we get a nice melodic change. This is the song's bridge. Using some sustained synthesizer chords and the acoustic guitar, this section helps lift the song. But most importantly, it hints at something even more melodic that is about to follow, or at least that's where it should have gone, only it doesn't. Instead, the song, unfortunately, in my opinion, loses its way. Beck begins to deliver an even more rapid-fire lyric delivery. There's nothing wrong with this, but the problem is that there's nothing musically strong underneath that spoken lyric to help sustain it. It's just more of that same staccato drum beat. There is a bass line that goes underneath it, but it's not tremendously melodic. And what worked really well during the song's opening now begins to sound just kind of redundant. Now, a few other rhythmic textures are added to this, but it just gets tired really quick. There is little or nothing to support this melodically. The song never really recovers from this. It just keeps going in this direction. Nothing melodically strong enough to support it. We do come back to that bridge again, but then when we come out of it, once again, same thing. Now, I really think that all of this could have been very easily fixed just by laying a couple of chords in the right spots underneath to help the building of all those rhythmic textures and give it just a little bit more dramatic oomph. So I thought to myself, if I was in the room and I'd been asked my musical opinion, what would I do? What would I suggest? So I sat down at my computer and pulled out my MIDI keyboard and recorded my first thoughts and impressions of what I might do. Let's go to my computer. Okay, so here we are. We're looking at my computer screen, and this is Logic Pro, which is a professional recording software that I like to use. As you can see, right here is the actual track, Saw Lightning, just an MP3 track. And then I've got a track here with some analog horns. I've got a track here, grand piano and strings. I've got a third track here that is just grand piano and strings. I had to put this down for just one note. I'll explain why I had to do that later. So let's first listen to the actual song Saw Lightning without any of this stuff that I recorded for it as a demonstration. Okay, so that's it. Now this comes right after that instrumental bridge. I was expecting it to now go somewhere melodically and build more, but instead it's just, in my opinion, monotonous. And you can disagree with me, but this is my opinion. There are different ways you could approach this, but this was the first thing that hit me. And I'm going to play this for you now, and let's check it out. Sorry to interrupt this demonstration. I initially wanted you to hear the entire segment from start to finish. Unfortunately, this video got blocked by Universal Music Group the moment I uploaded it. So I'm going to have to break this into smaller sections in order to basically fool their copyright bots so that I can actually play you the clips that I need to play for this examination. So the first thing you'll hear is that I just did some octave notes, not even chords, just some octave notes ascending up the scale so that it kind of builds as he's doing that rapid fire rap. Now in this next segment, I will take basically the same motif, but I will play some broken chords, and I've added in some grace notes to help further that build. Let's listen to this part now. Now we come to a part where we have a little bit of a breakdown. Some of the instrumentation goes away. It's a little bit more sparse sounding. I noticed that at the tail end of this section there were a few piano chords at the end. It felt incomplete, as if it was only partly written. I felt like it should have, the piano chords should actually start from the beginning of that section and lead to those ending piano chords so that it follows kind of a melodic through line, which it doesn't do. So I completed that part the way I thought it should go, added some additional chords to give it some more dissonance, and I'll play that for you now. Down to the ground. It struck me down, struck me down, struck me down on the ground. I felt that this gave it a little bit more build, a little bit more drama. This is also mixed much louder than it would probably be in a final mix. I don't have access to the actual tracks here. All I have is the MP3 file. And so these are mixed a little louder than they would normally be in a real finished recording. But this is probably necessary for now just to give you this demonstration and to give you an idea of what it is I'm going for here. The reason why I am recording this one note on a separate track is because I'm using a MIDI keyboard. It does not have the full piano range, so I actually have to electronically adjust the octave to where it will hit this low note for me. I also had to really pump it up here so that you would actually hear it. It was pretty much buried otherwise. Now there are all kinds of ways that you might tackle a problem like this, but this was just my first impression. This is just my first draft, so to speak. I want to add that the fact that this track disappointed me doesn't change my opinion about Beck in any way, shape, or form. I still think he's brilliant. He's always challenging himself. He's always finding ways to put musical elements together that shouldn't get along, but they do. Also, if you really like this song, more power to you. I'm glad you liked it. I don't mean that pejoratively. I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean that sincerely. we can't all like the same things in this world. But when I don't like something, I try to understand why, and I try to have, I try to explain it in a way that makes logical sense, as opposed to just saying I don't like it or it sucks. And once again, this track in no way has slowed my anticipation for the album. It's just one track after all. There have been times when I've heard an advanced track and been kind of on the fence about it or been kind of meh about it until I heard it in context with the rest of the album, and then my view on it changed, and perhaps this will be one of those times. Anyways, what do you think? How did you feel about the track? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What did you think about my analysis? Please leave a comment. If you like what I'm doing, please be sure to click like, subscribe, and be sure to hit the notifications icon. That's the bell icon, so you can know when I release new videos. I want to give a big shout out to my patron supporters. These are the people who are really helping me to create new videos. And if you'd like to become a patron supporter, please follow the link that'll be floating overhead very soon, if it's not floating overhead right now. Patreon supporters get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content that no one else does. And they're also the only ones who get to suggest video topics. Everybody, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Take care. Bye-bye.